Here's a trick. Use little plastic bottles to mix your paint. Check this out. Here it is. Mixing paint can be somewhat of a pain in the rear. So I found these little plastic bottles online and I've been hooked ever since. You can use these little bottles or little dropper bottles, it doesn't really matter, but I prefer these as the little needle points because I can use them to brush paint, or I can use it to easily drop paint into my airbrush. So here's a little guide about how to mix up paint. I'm going to mix up some matte tin paint because I've got some metal objects I'm going to paint. So again, I usually go for the less expensive paint route, and I buy them in kind of like the bulk. You can get it at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Walmart, things like that. They come in big bottles. They're not, to my opinion, they're not thin enough. You definitely can't put it through your airbrush at this point. What I do is have a little mixer. If you haven't got one of these yet, if you do a lot of painting, these things will save you a ton of time. I already mixed it up, but I'm just going to give you a brief overview of it. You put the paint in, you cut it on, and oh, look at that. It shakes it up. I always do that with a fresh bottle. Even if it's been sitting around in a little bit, I do it before I even mix it. And I'm just going to take my empty bottle, pop open my paint, and I'm just going to fill, well, it's more of an art than a science. And I'm just going to drop what I feel is a good amount into it to get what I'm looking for. And the reason I like to use the plastic bottles is you can actually compress them and squeeze and let it go, and it sucks the paint right down into it. Look at that. How much? I don't know how much we have in there. You know, one day I probably measure this stuff, but for today, we're not. And there we go. And of course, I got it all around the top. That's a good sign. So, I have my bottle filled with some paint. I'm going to give it a few drops of airbrush flow improver. This is just one I have laying around, no particular brands I'm tied to. I was going to give 1, 2, 3, 4 drops, maybe a little bit more. And what that does is increase the drying time of the paint a little bit. And then I'm going to come back with my airbrush thinner, and I'm just going to add it. Since this is a more solid paint, I'm going to add probably about 50% airbrush thinner to it. And again, although it says airbrush thinner, you can use it to thin it also for your brush painting. And I'm just kind of looking at my ratio there. That's a good amount. And if you get it too thin, you can always go back and add more paint to it. And here we are. We have our mixture together. I'm going to put the cap on. It comes as a little handy cap closure, needle closure, I guess you can say. I'm going to tighten that up. Make sure my top is on there. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a shake. Well, there we go. I'm going to put it in my paint mixer. And I'm just going to let that go, and I'm going to more than likely would walk away, do whatever. And I'm going to come back in a few minutes, and it's going to be done. And here we are. We're back. And my mixer is done. Oh, look at that. We've got some nice mixed paint. I prefer to use the automatic mixer just because, well, I'm getting old. It hurts my hand. So we can throw it over here. Let's see what we have. And again, I keep saying it's more of an art than a science. One day maybe we'll actually measure it out. But let's put it in. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good consistency. I'm just looking for a consistent flow. And for today, I'm just going to use it for some brushing I have to do. But if I was going to use it in my airbrush, I'll test a little bit of it first and then dilute it based on the results I was getting. And the big thing you want to remember to do after you put it in the bottle is to set it with all the other bottles that look just like this. I'm just joking. Me, I'm a little weird. My friends, they have OCD, but I like to make little labels for my paint just to make sure I know what I'm getting. No guesswork. I don't like guesswork sometimes. I don't like surprises. And there we go. Boom. We have a mixture of a bottle of paint that I can come back and, well, we have another almost full bottle of paint, and I can mix this up day in and day out as I need it. And it keeps in this bottle. I've had, I don't know if these last a few years in the bottle. As long as you keep the cap on, you're good to go. Hey, so I appreciate you watching, and I hope this tip helps some people out there, and I appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye.